It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose. But by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome
Oh,
to the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Yes, go ahead, Rick.
sorry, Flynn. I was talking, but I didn't have this mic open, only the other one on my.
Okay.
Okay, so shall I continue or shall
Yeah,
you?
go ahead.
You were doing such a good job there. I was wondering why. Okay, sorry about that. Let's try it again. So it's the 95th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. And I'm one of the hosts, Rick Grammond, and fortunately we have another host, Flint Mulhausen, who is paying more attention to the microphones today. And I think you're ready to begin. And I see Carolina's here, at least temporarily. I understand she might have connection issues, but we'll see how it goes here. Carolina, are you able to speak?
Yes, hi, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Don't make them going the other way around. Yes, I will be present and I will be able to stay. I have a stable network. So it will be a pleasure to finish with all of you the commandments as we have started. And if you can bring them up to the screen, then we can carry on with what we couldn't finish last week. And I thank you for carrying on last week, Rick and Flint, and the co-hosts and the knowledge seekers. Is that possible, Rick?
Yes, I'm just trying to locate that again here. Okay, so let me get that page up. Okay, you should be able to see the main page there of the commandment memes. We have our main picture.
If you can start from where we left off, please, Rick.
Well,
I need about 3 minutes before I can engage with you.
okay. Well, I believe the last one that we actually worked on was the 13th commandment. The man feeds his loved ones as well as his enemies. And the part of what we engaged in that discussion was this interesting conundrum of the mosquito and whether we would feed this, what we normally might consider to be our enemy. Do we feed that enemy? And in the case of being trapped alone with one mosquito in this eternal room with a light bulb, and that's about it. Do we end the mosquito's life or learn to get along with it? Was kind of the basic question. And that was quite interesting. And then the 14th one is thou shalt not rape. So I left that for this session for Carolina to engage in. So any comments or questions about any of that before we get Carolina back on the line here?
Yeah, you can go back a page and actually pull up the 13th.
Okay.
See the nice, pretty picture.
I'm not so sure how pretty it is, but
Yeah,
it's there. It's a graphic picture. It's quite good, actually. And we can see actually on the commandments, there's the links on each commandment to the part where Mr. Keshe explains the actual commandment. I believe that's in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. It's just, I won't play it, but we'll go there. 204th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for this particular episode.
I think we have a numbering problem.
Numbering problem?
Thou shalt not rape is 14. So we got the wrong picture in there.
14.
Yeah, if we go back to the main graphic, 13 is the man feeds. So we have the wrong picture in for the 13th. Oops.
Well, what about the other ones? 12th. So there's.
Yeah, this is the graphic for the 13th. Thou shalt not lie is 11. That's correct.
So this one's not correct. There's
Yeah,
one
we're missing the 12 that it got put in wrong. So this graphic is for the, yeah, we're missing 12. The graphic for the 13th is on 12 and for the 14th is on 13.
And does that go all the way through here? There's the one for.
She'll be equal.
That's the 12th
15.
one. We have it for the 15th. Is that right or no? Maybe it's not right.
Yeah. That'll be equal. So we got a little bit of correction to do there in the wiki.
And then 16th is back to
So
normal, it seems.
That's your carry.
See, 17th.
So we're.
So it seems okay after the 16th. We just have a couple.
Yeah.
Between 12 and 15 that are all of them.
We need to fix those. Whoops.
I will change it now. Sorry.
Okay, thanks,
Okay,
Andreas. Yeah,
thanks,
if you can get that fixed, get the right pictures with the right numbers.
Perhaps those pictures were with
Wouldn't-
different numbers at one point.
Wouldn't hurt to double check them all, Andreas.
Yes.
Uh, 20 is different as well.
Oh.
Is it? Let's see.
20 is shall serve his soul. And if we go back.
Oh, no, it's correct. Sorry.
Okay. Hopefully the main graphic is correct there.
Yeah, maybe
With
that's
the
not
labeling
correct.
in there. I have to double check that against the website.
Thank you, Peggy. Peggy also noticed that the 24th commandment on our picture is actually incorrect. It shows it as the 14th. If you look at our graphic here on what should be XXIV is XIV. So we're missing an X there.
Yeah,
That's right in the original
yeah.
graphic.
I can fix that.
Oh, yeah.
But the saying is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised we didn't catch that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been looking at that for a while.
For a year. Okay.
Good eye, Peggy. Sometimes things get revealed over time.
Well, anybody has anything to say about what number 14 now is what we're on?
Yeah, number 14. I wanted to kind of wait till Caroline got here, but.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. There you are.
Yes, I am. I can now.
We're still trying to get a couple things corrected here with some mix-ups in the numbers and the names of these commandments. And Andreas is working in the background to get that sorted out.
Okay.
So
So
do we want...
which one did you want to go? If you can increase your volume, please. I have a lot of background noise. I have to apologize, but I can't run the air because it's too hot and I need to keep the windows open to have some fresh air. So I do apologize for the background noise. I can't temper it down.
We can't hear any background noise right now, so your noise canceling microphone is doing its job, I guess.
I will try to put my headset in and see if I can accommodate you better or even hear you better, that you don't get bothered by increasing all your phones. Just give me a second, please. Try. Is it working?
You're much clearer.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yep, that's really good.
Good. Because even with my headset on, good. Yeah, because people were even complaining when I was wearing my headset that there was too much background noise, but I couldn't change it. Okay. Where did you want me for, Rick? If I understood correctly?
Well, the last commandment we were going to start was the thou shalt not rape, which is shown as number 14 in the picture, in the image. And then it's actually, just trying to find where it was here.
I think that doesn't need much explanation. I think everybody understands or understood that one quite well, as that should not take place whatsoever.
I think it's in the middle of being changed right now.
You're adjusting the numbers, you mean?
Some of them were not the same as in the picture. We were missing one, and they got sort of pushed ahead. And so the ones between 12 and 15 or 16, a couple of them, they all get sort of jumbled up, so they have to be sorted out with their correct picture, apparently.
Yeah.
I can't find the one that says thou shalt not rape right now, so I think it's being worked on in the background.
Yeah.
Hello?
I cannot find it to the you shall not rape. But for now, maybe you can use the picture on the right.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Agua.
Okay. Well, like you say, Caroline, we've actually dealt quite thoroughly with that command, with all these commandments, in fact, in the past. And you wanted to kind of skip through now with a different perspective, correct?
Yep.
And maybe you should explain that again, where we're coming from with that.
Which one exactly?
Well, what was their purpose in
Agua, per
going through?
favore. Thank you.
What,
Sì, grazie, bravo.
what was their purpose in going through these commandments again? Might be
The
good to clarify.
purpose. Yes, no problem. The reason, because it was asked by a Universal Council member, that is, we should not put this in public domain, because then people will think that this is related to religion. And I had to go to quite an extent in explaining that the commandments, the first 10, were delivered by Moses. He was a prophet. He didn't carry no title of religion. It has nothing to do of any religion, because it's his dispensation as that time the giver of those 10, which were supposed to be complete, as Mr. Keshe has given them now in completion. And Mr. Keshe said, it's also written in the presentation of the commandments, that if we or humanity would have received all the commandments at the time of the dispensation of Moses, humanity would be in a completely different state of understanding and behaving and conduct, because these missing commandments were so important to be completely delivered. Even though the first 10 have been delivered, or you can find them, every religion more or less has adopted them and put them and embedded them somewhere. So they were very important, because I cannot imagine worldwide anywhere where they don't know the commandments. They might be slightly changed, because I even started with a different kind of version of the commandments, which I had to work my way around it, because they were going in so many ways opposite to one another. So that was showing that even people have copied them, they are in a contradictory way in so many ways that they don't make sense for people. But throughout the time, we have tried to embed them, but they have always been told or explained as something, it has nothing to do with you, but it has something to do with you, but never the essence of each commandment in its own form And I try to explain it from the first ones, especially in the ethos and in the soul class and in my private teaching. We try to go into depth with it. And that is, just one second, please. Mr. Keshe is asking me something. Okay, I'm back. That is, the understanding is when I share the commandments with you, I don't prophesize them. I just try to bring them because, as Mr. Keshe has explained, they were delivered for the soul level. As we all have gone through the teachings of Mr. Keshe, we know the position of the soul. We know the second soul, which is our physicality soul, and how we conduct with one another. And we are finding more and more paths of understanding in that, is if I read the commandments, what do they mean for me? It means I have to conduct myself towards these guidelines because they're called commandments, but they are actually literally a gift from the universal to guide humanity from, if you can imagine, from 3, 4, 5,000 years ago till up till today. Apparently they have not been understood correctly, because if you even just take one, thou shalt not kill, I can imagine that everybody understands that if I even just simply go into my garden and I pick up a flower with the root and everything and I just put it on top of the soil, it's gonna die. So I have uprooted a life. It's a soul, it's a living being. Then let alone the implication and the understanding that how can priests or holy people, or I don't know what to name them, because in different religions they have different titles. They go and bless their soldiers before they're gonna go to war, and war to us means somewhere down the line they will take a life. That is the meaning of why I'm coming back with the commandments on certain times, because they are not understood. If we kill animals to eat, we all know, we all have become aware of it. But the beauty sits with it that throughout the teachings, we are slowly start adjusting ourselves. And I had the same question here in the conference in Brazil. They could not make the connection with all the steps. I said, it's very simple. I said, the beauty is that I have requested a while ago for the knowledge seekers to put as many Gans waters, the plasma water, in the rivers, the seas, the fountains, the gardens, to release the energy field strength. And because we know now that all the waters are interconnected with and on this planet, we are elevating the fields because it's an energy release we did. But also with the intent we had to release the waters, we elevated because they're passing the fishes, they're passing the plants, they're going to be poured on lands. Your connection with those plasma waters stays. You stay connected on soul level, the same as with your wishes. And then we went through the teachings of the blueprint with the Maghreb systems. We all know what Mr. Keshe has explained about the Maghrebs. We haven't figured it out yet completely, but you should take the image of the planet and then take the image of your Maghreb system. Look, how is the planet connected and how are the fields going? Your Maghreb is a replicate beyond. It's a creation of a universe. So it has a power which has still not been completely revealed for humanity. It will come. But you have to also understand now that everywhere worldwide, knowledge seekers have released the plasma waters. Knowledge seekers have built their macro systems. We all know that once you start creating something, it carries a soul, a field strength. So the magraphs are so powerful. People have no idea how beautiful those are. So that was the second level of connection. Then we went into another stage of development, which was the star formation. So we are already in 3 levels throughout and globally, because the knowledge seekers, even they are very well hidden, as we have to come to understand here in Brazil. There are so many of them, and we hardly could hear a whisper from them because a few people thought that they could keep them silent. With us coming here, we have just opened the doors. It's like a flood of knowledge seekers. We cannot catch fast enough up with their work, what they have established here. It is amazing. And they are so knowledgeable. But the beauty, I said, for the ones who stopped them or tried, was that the knowledge seekers have developed in their own way. They've done it by themselves, away from our side, our part. So whatever they carry is what they have built up on what they have taken from the foundation. And they're a huge family, and they work together, and they enjoy working and sharing. It's amazing to see it. So you cannot stop knowledge. You cannot stop soul teaching, because we are all interconnected. That's the beauty which comes more and more. Like one of the knowledge seekers said, oh, I just got my pension and now I just bumped into another extra 100, 120, 150 knowledge seekers, which I didn't even knew that they were existing. The time has come for all these to come on the surface. They're all opening up like beautiful flowers. The unit, which now is going to start getting delivered from January, is also going to take the same position as the magraphs and the pain pens and the plasma waters and whatever we have done. These units now are going to go to that higher field strength. Because you also have to realize that we're talking with Mr. Keshe. It's not only that those units will be used to reposition people which have these kind of conditions. There will be units coming into the market as well for prevention, that we don't need to go through this huge process of repairing, resetting a body which has been badly damaged by so many medication. Because it's not so much the illness which is the problem. It's the side effects of the medication which then have taken their toll on the person. To reverse that is what is taking so much time. So the body enhancement systems will be that next level where Mr. Keshe said, we haven't received the majority, the critical mass yet. The commandments, why I brought them back, are part of this. Because when people start putting attention again to it, to shed light to the understanding of each commandment, it's not for you to teach nobody else. It's for where can I apply it into my own day-to-day life. As I explained last time with the fishes, and your souls are above you in a visual way of looking at it, and they are communicating on top of you. And when you're not correct, your soul already knows. So that has given me a boost to conduct, even in my day-to-day life, even thinking, thoughts, normal reactions because of habit, because we have been brought up with that kind of structure. You start analyzing your structure of thinking, you're analyzing your structure of behaving, your conduct. and you withhold more and more, not to release that kind of energy, as Mr. Keshe explained. Mankind hasn't understood. And I brought that message quite a few times, not to spend no energy, then you can hold on to your energy. You become stronger. You become more with your own, in line with your own soul and conduct. So your soul can put you easier on your path and things go much smoother. So why not going through the commandments? It should be a pleasure and a joy, because knowledge seekers now can take the essence of the commandments into the real sense that they are meant for me, because I'm equally important as everybody else. And if I can share them to shed the light, that somebody else might start correcting in conduct by, even if they only understood one, you already have achieved a lot. That's the beauty of the commandments. That we don't need to bow, we don't need to serve nobody, but servitude in a giving manner, yes. Be that building brick to put somebody higher. Explaining this goes much easier if, let's say, somebody pays too much attention to somebody else, and we all know those kind of jealousy feelings, or we don't like it, or we disapprove of it. But if you're aware of the commandment, and you're aware of what Mr. Keshe explained, and you straightway can withhold that thought, not to release that energy towards that person because it bothers you, but you hold back and you say, you know something, you need that energy because otherwise you wouldn't behave like this, and you leave it in peace, you will feel the change within yourself. Because the thought and the reaction towards that other person, you release and lose your field strength. By changing it, you elevate the other, and at the same time you elevate yourself, because you keep yourself stable. There is a lot of knowledge in these commandments, more than anyone even can imagine. And it would be nice to see if we can apply at least one a day in understanding, or actually carrying it out as well. It's the beauty not to have to get lost in the explanation what the religion world has created from it, or our law system has created from it, or anything else, but just you within the knowledge that you can grasp what the meaning is of these commandments. Because somewhere, somehow, you will bump in one of them that you might say, yes, now I understand, I will try not to. I will reposition myself to keep hold of my own strength and not to release it in that kind of way or manner. Was that sufficient enough explained, Rick?
I think so. If anyone has any questions about that or would like a further explanation, now would be a good time to say so. Okay, so let's carry on, I guess.
You can already switch to the pictures. And I found out that the pictures are from the Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and the picture where you now is from the Keshe Foundation website. And on the pictures from the Knowledge Seekers Workshops, there are the text is a little bit different, only 2 of them. But the pictures 16 to 25 are changed now, and this is in the right order now. And for the 15th one, I have to find, this one is not here. We have to look for it with Peggy.
I'll get you the right pictures.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we carry on then? From
Sure. Yes,
we've
please.
covered 14, the thou shalt not rape. Is that clear? Or shall we carry on with that or go to the next one?
If anybody has any questions about that one.
Okay, well, I think we can go to 15 then. Thou shalt not judge no one except himself, and not to be judged by no one.
Yes, anybody, any information for that one? Does everyone understand what judgment means? It's becoming end of the season. On the 13th of December, we are going for a break. And then we're going to have a restart in January with a hopefully and most probably a new setup of teaching platforms. So this one, of course, will stay. It might change time or even day, I don't know. That has not been decided yet, but I have noticed that a lot of knowledge seekers are going more and more quiet. What do you think, Rick? They start getting tired?
Don't know.
We're going to keep it very short if the interaction on the platforms are staying so quiet, because we are not here, nor Rick, nor Flint, nor me. We are knowledge seekers together. And we love to have your input on those topics so that we can inspire others why we put them on the platforms. Nobody? Okay, it means they have understood commandments.
No, I have a question.
And you are, please?
Sorry, this is Ike Bullet
Yes.
from California. I have a question. Thou shalt not judge no one except himself. Now, when you know somebody is doing something wrong out of your own personal experience, because you've been through that, and is that considered putting a judgment or a cast judgment on that because you have experience and that is wrong? Or do you just ignore and let them kind of hit the wall?
It depends the situation. what it literally says, do you remember? It was used in a different way in the Catholic teachings. That was, if anyone is free of any wrongdoing, he can cast the first stone. So if you are not free, you cannot cast no stone to nobody. Maybe it's easier understood in that way of form, but I've had something very strange in the last few days, if I may elaborate on it. Maybe it might shed a view. If you have listened to the recent teachings of Mr. Keshe, he says, I don't forgive and I don't forget, because otherwise they will carry on and they will harm more. And on top of that, they will harm themselves. So there was a lady who came and sat next to me. And she said, I would love to explain something, and I need to get it off my chest. There has been this and this and this condition. And I listened. I took my time to spend with her. And she explained exactly what took place. And I said, it will be taken care of because we have an ethos in the foundation. We work with that ethos. Apparently, it was not 100% clear yet that I would actually do something about this. So 2-3 days later, I received a message, and she said, because we took action, we start opening the channels for the Brazilian people as knowledge seekers to have their platforms, their teaching platforms, their private and public teachings. They are registering as fast as they can because the door has opened up. Now they've been acknowledged that they are existing, they are there, they have their work, and it is beautiful. So I got the message back from the lady, and she said, if you would have had answered me, oh, it's just a human being and everybody has his mistakes. Can you close your microphone, please? It gives me a lot of feedback. Thank you. She said, if you would have responded to me, it's, you know, it's just a human being and they have mistakes and, you know, she said, I would have turned my back onto the foundation and I would have never looked back. But because you cared for what we put on the table and what I put on the table, she said, it is just, it is correct. And I replied to her very simple. I said, we as a Keshe Foundation family, we have an ethos. Everyone is equal. No one is above or below the other one. We always look each other straight in the eye. And if there is a problem, we are sitting always all together on the table to solve the problem. If the problem runs out of really out measuring that is unacceptable, then we take our position and we just say, you know something, the world and the platform is big enough, the sandbox outside the Keshe Foundation family is big enough for you to play the old games. Within the Keshe Foundation, we have a few rules or a few requirements that we are asking from everyone. That is, you please respect one another. We are here all together to learn. We can have a discussion, but it has to stay within the respectful manner. That it doesn't mean because the other one goes opposing you that means he's wrong, and that doesn't mean you're right. You just have a different form of opinion. But if you keep on bothering the person and then you become insultive, then that is the end line. We allow you to expose what is on your chest until a certain point, and then we just close the books. You can play somewhere else. With this kind of conduct, thou shalt not judge no one except yourself. It means you first have to clean your house. You first have to make sure that you're correct in conduct. Because what we have learned throughout the soul teachings is, how do you position yourself? Because the other person is part of you. He is mirroring maybe something that is not so quite right with yourself. But if you analyze that mirror and it's not you, then you can try to give from your soul to that person so that he receives more, that he can correct himself. And for the time being, as we say, play outside the sandbox till you one day you come back and you want to be part of the family which has a correct conduct. So I understand what you're trying to explain, but you have to see where you can find the best solution in positioning you yourself without putting the judgment if you don't know why that person is actually behaving. There might be 100 different reasons. I explained this to my children and I brought it in one of the classes. One of the easiest ways is when you are traveling on a bus and there is a man there with 5 children and the children are literally behaving like monkeys and they jump up and down and they go back and forward and they're shouting. And then one of the co-passengers said to the man, "Man, please, can you not take control of your children? This is unacceptable." And the man nodded his head and he said, "What do you want me to do? We just came from the hospital, they lost their mother." That is where the point of correctness sits, in judging. You don't know what goes on in that person's life, so don't cast a judgment upon him because you don't have no knowledge why this person is like this. Until they tell you or you find out or you want to know. But in the meantime, it's more and easier to give from that person your love and your kindness for him to elevate, to overcome whatever is bothering him, for him to have this kind of conduct that is bothering you or harming you. You will bring him much faster out of that situation than start throwing judgments at him. Is that easier understood?
Yes, awesome. I think you said it quite right. Try to elevate their soul. That way, it's much easier than judging, casting a judgment on them.
Yeah, because they are not transparent. We don't know what is really going on in their life, and they might be disturbed of something we have absolutely no knowledge from. I've had, in this case, which I responded to the lady, was that the person who was having the misconduct was so badly cooked up, and he believed what they were whispering in his ears, but he is responsible for himself positioning, not for me to judge him. I just elevate, I say thank you, because in a funny way, when somebody has done actually something wrong to you, which is the funny part of this understanding of this one, is just look, by bothering you, instead of casting a judgment, just take time and see where that has repositioned you. And usually it has always given you a gift. In this case, it has opened the doors for a whole country, Brazil, with so many hundreds of knowledge seekers. They've been set free. But the most beautiful thing is they have developed the beauty among themselves. So they are very strong knowledge seekers. They know what they're doing because they had to do it all by themselves, because they were literally more or less disconnected from the Keshe Foundation. They could not find their path into the foundation. And that is the nourishing part towards the person who created the chaos. So I still, even in the position, I say thank you. And I explained that to the Brazilian community and they understood. And that's the beauty when you start analyzing and don't jump in too fast into judgment. I hope this was a nice guiding for you.
Yes, it is. Also, you touched on something I wanted to ask Mr. Keshe on Thursday, but I can throw that in now. When he said he do not forgive or forget, does that apply specifically to that metrics of not trying to have other people do the same thing, or does it apply generally in life that if someone does something and you don't forgive, and you're not looked upon as being mean-spirited by not forgiving?
Yes, go on.
No. Can you expand on that?
Yes, because you all know from last Thursday teaching and the week before that Mr. Keshe spent a lot of time in China. So the whole setup in Italy was to run the Keshe Foundation Italy in a proper manner. So if I have given you the investment and I have given you the building and I have given you the material and I have given you the key to run, then it's your responsibility. It's like I give you my house and my front door key and I'm going traveling. I need to go out for work. And when I come back, my whole house is ransacked, my furniture is damaged, the bills are not paid, the bailers are on the door to empty my house because it's in a ruin. But I have given you the key to take care as a good caretaker of my home. In that manner, this is, when I refer to Italy, it has caused so much pain and so much suffering because a lot of knowledge seekers were depending on the running of that home, that base, which Mr. Keshe has given the key for to be taken care of, to the caretakers. So if they have ransacked the house and caused so many knowledge seekers so much stress and so much pain, and it's not only the knowledge seekers, it's the management, it's the whole setup which has had suffered, then that's why Mr. Keshe said, we cannot forgive because the books have to be balanced among souls. I cannot forget because if I forget, and if I have forgiven and I haven't taken my point of balance and positioning, then somebody else will do it somewhere else in the foundation because we as a foundation, we are okay with this kind of behavior. We are not okay. So that's why Mr. Keshe said, I cannot forget and I cannot forgive because they will learn by being positioned because of what they have created themselves, not Mr. Keshe, nor the foundation, nor the knowledge seekers, but only the responsibility. The responsible people have created this. They have to stand for where Mr. Keshe said, I cannot forgive and I cannot forget. Because if he is setting up the next one and he gives the keys to the caretakers and they know they can get away with this, then it will carry on. It will multiply. So he says, in the foundation, that cannot take place. I don't allow it. You have to go back to something very interesting to understand that point of not forgiving, not forgetting. And I will take you a very harsh example. We have had the case with Alan Sterling. A lot of knowledge seekers have suffered trying to end this case, to put it in the right position. Alan Sterling got locked up. We all together understood the pain and the suffering that caused for so many. But by stopping this man, and he's been put in jail, what have we created? We haven't forgotten it. We have not forgiven because we stuck to what we have achieved together to put a stop to this kind of behavior. And what is the result? We still see every day somewhere a publication, they have saved or safeguarded so many children. Apparently worldwide, with what the Keshe Foundation has gone through that suffering to stop that one man, 600 million children have been safeguarded from not being sexually abused or trafficked. But that was our wish. We didn't forget and we did not forgive, because there is no tolerance in abusing children. And one of these commandments says, "Thou shalt not rape." And he was abusing his own children. And more people will, when the time is there and the time is mature and the books will balance themselves, it will show. But we as the Keshe Foundation family have worked together to establish the prevention for more children to get harmed. And I think every single knowledge seeker that has children, I think they do not wish for them to land in the hands of these kind of wrong people. There should be already the very basic understanding of why not to forget and why not to forgive. Because if you do, then they can carry on with the abuse and they will harm so many more. Was that easier to understand in this way?
He says, Ike says yes in the chat. He may not be able to speak right now.
Good day, everybody. I'm Dan. I have a question. I learned reading question in the Italy group. I don't remember what group. It's saying, why Mr. Keshe present only the animation of this unit, and what it's about Italy, Belgium, and the Ghana? And I explain my response is look careful in 2099 and in 300. Mr. Keshe explained it's the way how is present. Look the result with the China people where she's in the chair of a wheel and now is running better than myself. And about Italy and because asking in Italian, what's happened? Yeah, I say go and look careful and better the last knowledge seekers workshop.
All the information is in public domain. The Keshe Foundation, where it needs and where it can, it works as transparent as we can. And if we can't be protecting, because this is something a lot of knowledge seekers haven't come to understand, they were grooming on our children in the foundation, because the children, the youngsters, they are eager to find a solution for the energy problems. So the ones which are in that line of research or studying, or they're just their curiosity to find solutions for the energy problems worldwide, and especially in their own environment, the Alan Sterling group was grooming on these children. They were picking them up, and we were not aware of that until it came to light of Mr. Keshe, how this was all set up. The first thing Mr. Keshe did was to find the best way to stop that they could not groom on our children, which are the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, no matter your age. So if we as good fathers, with the key of our own home, couldn't stand to take those measurements and decisions and pain and suffering, and it created a lot of pain among a lot of people which were working very close with Mr. Keshe to get this all through, we stood it because we knew that it was protecting our own children from our own Keshe family. And the beauty is that we have extended it worldwide because we took it in a wish, and we have created the wish to protect all the children. That's why you see them coming up left, right, and center. In our wishes are working. We don't forgive, we don't forget, and we keep on going. And wherever we see there is a need, we create the wish and we work together to solve the problem, to change the position so that the truth can come on the table. Because if you wish for transparency, then nothing stays hidden. It doesn't matter who prints what. You got to do your own research, you got to do your own view, you have to have your own opinion and not be chewed by somebody else to believe or follow somebody else. That's where the whole explanation came when Rick said, can you explain again? That's why I said, it's a dispensation of one man, which we call a prophet, at that time to deliver those messages to humanity. For humanity to be able to conduct in the matter of this kind of way of guidance. No more, no less. I've seen that Joachim has put his hand up somewhere. Is that correct?
I was just going to suggest that, but I thought you might have something else you wanted to add, but that was what you added.
No. Yes.
So,
Thank you, Rick.
yes, go ahead, Joachim.
Okay, thank you. It's really nice to be here again. I have been in the conference this weekend, and it was just, I have no words to describe how good it was. And I am really happy with what happens during these weekends. Caroline, I have one question about this commandment, because I think a lot about that. Because sometimes it's difficult for me to know exactly the border between tell something and without judging, and a gossip. Because when you share what you know and you tell that to people, even if is what you think is the truth, you can make some imbalance in the community. And then you go back. Can you, I would like to hear you to say something about that, please.
I will try to explain it with Mr. Keshe's words. And that is something, just 1 second. I need to answer a phone call. Just 1 second.
Maybe, Joachim, you could explain a little more about your question while we're waiting.
Yes, I can. Sometimes you know something. This is important for the community. And you think with yourself if you can tell the community about, and with that you make some disturbance in the community, and or you go back and don't say anything to keep the things calm, because sometimes there is a little bit of judgment in your opinion also. And I think that I want to know exactly the concept and the border between doing the right thing and gossip. If I'm not sure if I am more clear, but it's
in
a
good
little
way.
bit, it's a little bit philosophical.
It's not philosophical. I explained it last week, but you were not in the platform. Otherwise, you would have understood it by now. That is, I do not remember exactly which commandment I opened it up like this. And that was, but I'm going to tell you the story, then you will understand. Because a lot of knowledge seekers have repositioned themselves because of this explanation. And this goes as follows. You have 4 people sitting on the table and they're friends. Now you have to imagine there are 4 souls above them, which it's your presence of your soul. Now they're talking to one another and one starts talking and bragging about, oh, last weekend I catched 4 big fishes. And then you look up and you see the souls going to one another, you know, punching the elbow and say, he only took 4 little fishes. He's not telling the truth. But the person who's sitting next to him knows that he only took 4 little fishes. Now, the understanding in this story is that the souls know. The souls use nothing to go wrong, but as knowledge. So they keep their books clean, as we say. But if the person sits next to the guy who's saying 4 big fishes and he knows it's only 4 little fishes, he knows about the incorrectness of the information. Now, I'm only referring to fishes, but if that information harms or hurts and you know about it, then if you keep quiet, then you become part of the lie. You become part because you know, you have knowledge about it, that when you don't open the book, you create the chaos for so many others to be damaged because you did not correct the story. You could have very simply pushed his elbow and say, oh, don't exaggerate, you know, you only took 4 small fishes, and you immediately create the correctness of the pattern. That your soul does not have to balance its books. What does that mean in the full understanding of everything is, you have to look at your soul carries a day book. I call it my saving account. You know, where you put your saving money in and you top it up? Well, if these kind of mishaps happen, then you deduct, let's say, 10 euro from your account because you allowed a small lie to be told and you told a small lie. So that is how the souls are keeping balance in the books. This, now I remember why I explained this, was thou shalt not steal, and especially thou shalt not steal from your own self. So if you allow these kind of things to happen and to take place, you lose from your field strength, which is your saving account. So the more you can stay correct within your own behaving and conduct, but also not allow others to harm or hurt anyone else, you keep your books straight, which means you keep your book, your account in balance. Was that easier explained, Joachim?
Yes, it was really nice and helped me a lot. But based on that, I have another question. Even let's use the example of the Brazilian community. Even if what you know will promote some problems, that you need to tell.
Yes, but how, you know, I will give you a very simple example. With what happened in Italy, not many people knew about it. So the Keshe Foundation management and Mr. Keshe were taking a lot of blows for something they were not responsible of, because we didn't know. They struggled and they couldn't find out what the problem was in reality. So it was hidden. So there was more than one caretaker in Italy. So one knew about the other one and the other one knew about the other one. And nobody said a word and everything was kept in hiding. If one, which was the most trusted one, would have said something, then this could have been prevented. That means that the deliveries of the orders would have been able to be going out on time. People which were suffering from all sorts of conditions couldn't receive their pain pads, their pain pens, their Magraph systems, whatever it was in the store of Italy was not getting shipped out. So all those people were suffering for extra weeks and months, maybe even longer, because the delivery of the relief system to take that pain away from even one knowledge seeker could not be done, because it was so chaotic and it was so confusing, and we could not see through the curtain of this kind of, you know, fantasy which they were throwing back at us, which we couldn't find what the heck is going on. until the last minute, it was like a bomb. It brought a lot of shaking throughout the foundation, but it was corrected. Now, we have more or less backed up all the delayed deliveries. There may be still a few left to do so, but finally, people have received what they requested for months ago. So why keep it hidden for something you know that people, if they don't receive it, they will be in that kind of agony state for much longer, or they will receive more harm than to shake the bottle and let everything to settle to the floor, but let the dirt to come out of the bottle. It is the short way, but it's the clean way, it's the transparent way, and a lot of people are getting prevented from being harmed. Very straightforward. If you keep it quiet, then you're part of the setup that a lot of more people will get harmed because you kept quiet. If I know something, this is exactly what the lady said to me. She said, if you would have said that, you know, not to cause problems, she's just, or it is just a human being. She said, I would have just turned my back on the Keshe Foundation and I would have walked off. But because you showed that you cared and you took care of it, she says, I'm a full knowledge seeker. And the lady was, she only knew the Keshe Foundation the last 3 weeks. This is where you position, but it's your decision. You have to decide in your decisioning, in your positioning of your field strength. If I do this, it will cause chaos, okay, but what is actually the result of it? The truth is on the table, nobody can get harmed anymore. Finished. Then the books will settle among the souls, and it might go even smoother than you even can imagine that it goes smoother, because I had once a knowledge seeker. Actually, it was Klaus. He came into the teaching and he did a lot of soul searching, and he said, I have to admit something. I said, yes, okay. I said, come on, bring it on the table. He said, you know, I told a white lie last week to somebody. I said, okay. He said, but I felt so bad. I felt so bad. It was, you know, my stomach was churning. I knew I said something wrong. So he said, I decided with what I understood from Mr. Keshe's teachings, and I was very recent from the soul teaching. He said, I went back to the person and I told him what I told him wrong. And the person wasn't even angry at me. He said, thank you very much for clarifying so we don't carry on making any more mistakes. That's where you stop the stealing from your own soul. Because you know that if it doesn't come on the table, it will harm more than actually keeping it quiet and do the little disturbance in the group and make it to blow up, that everybody knows the truth, and they can position themselves in the correct manner. And finished. Never hold back, thinking you never lose. You can't lose with being honest and correct. That's the ethos of the foundation. I hope I have given you a few other examples to help you to understand. You only steal from yourself if you withhold the truth. Very simple.
You helped a lot. Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome.
In the same manner, it's possible put in the question. I don't need the explication because it's not my right. It's not my. But I see yesterday in the testimonial, no, is stopping some person. Don't say the name is present. Why is the reason? No, no, it's a wrong question. Not why. When it's explained why it's stopping some person and the other not. Understand what the situation I talking?
Yes, because we have a conduct. And for certain reasons, we stop before something takes place. And we do not need to justify why we do it. That's a problem with a lot of knowledge seekers, that they need to have an A to Z explanation. If it's concerning all of you in such a great matter, like Mr. Keshe shared about Alex with Sterling, with Italy, you're part of the problem, you're part of the suffering. Then we put it on the table. But if I have to go and explain, I have tried to explain this many, many, many times. If Mr. Kish or me or all of you knowledge seekers have to start explaining why, how, and I mean literally the full alphabet from A to Z, why a decision has been made, then we will no longer have the time to teach, but we will be doing nothing but justifying why we make certain decisions. They're just there. Trust that is for the benefit of all of you, otherwise we wouldn't make these kind of decisions. Very straightforward and very simple. Because if I have to go and start explaining why I got up in the morning, why I drank a coffee, why I had breakfast, and then I went for a walk, and then I went for a swim, and then I had my lunch, and what did you have for lunch, and how did you eat your lunch, and why did you eat your lunch? If I have to start explaining all that, then we will have no more room nor time to teach, to share knowledge. That's the only reason why we are here on these platforms, is to share knowledge, to inspire people that they can take something from it, that they can implement it in their life, or inspire somebody else to start changing their life and have the benefits from it. But with all the things that have happened, if we have to start even explaining what happened in Belgium, and then in Ghana, and then there, and then there, and then here, and then there, then, darling, I will be just having and running these platforms explaining. Just trust that we look after our family, as I explained, like in the case with Alan Sterling. That's all. Main concern is teaching, sharing knowledge, making sure it's accessible for everyone. Nobody is deprived from the knowledge. But if certain things happen, please don't ask us to go and explain from A to Z, because we simply don't have time for it. I prefer to inspire you to do something today with what you took from this platform that we are sharing so openly with one another.
Thank you, Sinara Caroline, for this. For me, it's enough. It's not need for me personal to explain. I understand. I understand the concept, and I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I will not explain to no one except for the ones which are involved in the process why it's taking place. There are a lot of things that are happening in the foundation to support all of you, not to lose time, not to be able to teach. That's our main position. Rick knows it, Flint knows it, the host, the co-host knows, because there was an incident last week in one of the teachings, and we just put people on mute. You can't talk anymore. You cannot disrupt the classes anymore. We don't go and explain. We just give the information to where it took place, the person himself, and that will put him on a standby, but he can't participate anymore until they learn that they are part of the family in respect to one another. And if it happens more than once, then you will be banned ever to speak again. But we will not ban you as a student to come and take the knowledge. You will always be allowed to be a student. We don't, unless it's really bad, then you get really removed, permanent. That's it, very simple. As I explained, the sandbox outside the Keshe Foundation in the public domains is big enough for you to behave and to be whoever you want to be. The Keshe Foundation has just a few rules, and that is simply respect one another. It's just knowledge we are sharing with one another. That's our platform. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the souls which are getting these kind of conditions, they know what has happened in the past or what is being, and we don't need to go and explain to nobody, as exactly this commandment says, thou shalt not judge. We don't open the books, but we guide that they cannot participate or disrupt anything anywhere else. That's all, very simple. And for the knowledge seekers who don't know, Joachim is, if I am correct, Brazilian.
Yes, I am Brazilian.
A lot of things in Brazil will have to reposition themselves, Joachim. As we found out ourselves, it was a huge surprise to all of us as well. Don't forget, the team did not know. So yes, you can reposition a lot.
Okay, thank you, and let's do that together as one.
Okay.
Can I jump in?
Of course you can. We've been calling you.
No way. I didn't hear my name. I was working, sorry. Rick
Okay, would
or
you like
Flint?
to carry on with the completion of the missing commandments?
Rick, do you hear me?
Carolina?
You do not hear me.
I
Flint?
hear you, Jalal. You're
I
loud
think
and
Rick-
clear.
But Rick do not hear me.
My microphone's.
Rick, can you hear me?
Oh, hang on a second. My settings changed here. I can't hear you.
You went for coffee,
Now.
Rick.
No. My computer went for coffee and changed the settings and changed my audio there briefly. So I don't know what happened there. I didn't switch it, but live stream did. Anyway, you were saying.
It was Jalal.
Hi, Rick.
Hi, Jalal. What did you say that was so profound that it knocked out my computer here?
Yeah, it's my wish. Can you please bring the wish I brought up for the beauty of Iraqi people?
From the wishes. Okay.
Yes. What happened in the last 2-3 weeks in Iraq, it shows how really beautiful our wishes is.
You're bringing good news.
It is. If you go in the news, you see the people, how they behave. Really, it is, for me, it was astonished, really. I was astonished because for all these 40 years of destruction and making all every wrong things available for the people, and the people showing their beauty in peace, this is really beauty, really beauty. when we see the protesters for all these 3 weeks, they are not carrying any arm, they are not fighting, they are protesting in peace, although the government is killing them, and we have more than 17,000 injuries and nearly 400 murdered, killed, and they still protesting in peace and love. This shows really a very beautiful future for them.
So, Jalal, have you exercised the song and changed the song energy?
I exercise it, and in a way, in the beginning I didn't understand it, because for me it is really a different level of energy, but it came through beautifully.
May I explain what I advised you to do?
Yes, please.
Jalal can correct me if I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
But, but the way I understood, maybe Jalal, you can sing the song, then people have an idea what your meaning, then I can do the explanation.
We, as a people, they sing in soul and blood we sacrifice for a country or a man or any name you put it in the end. So they sing this song. They sacrifice their soul, their blood for something. And in that way, they are sacrificing for the country.
When Jalal explained this song, which is known by every single person in that country, if you can close your background noise, Jalal, please. It's because I'm wearing headsets. That's why it's so loud for me, sorry. I said to Jalal, on the basis of understanding the teaching, the soul teaching of Mr. Keshe, and the wishes we have been making, I said, but Jalal, I said, you have something so beautiful and you don't realize it. And as he said, he didn't understand quite well what I meant with that, because to him it's horrifying. I said, no. I said, you know the song. I said, you're connected because you're from that language speaking nation. You have that emotional field strength connection. I said, you can change that song and elevate the song by giving it its beauty. And if you feed that energy, it can only serve for its beauty. He had some problems with digesting it, but it's okay. Because everything you have, it doesn't matter what it is, you are the creator. You can change the field strength from anything. Then it reflects back to you in how you change the field strength. That's why I immediately brought up the question, Jalal, have you worked with the song? Because now you bring me the good news. It doesn't matter what happens in there. They're doing it peacefully. And in one of the commandments, it says very clearly, you will not even defend yourself. It's better to die than to shed somebody else's blood. And maybe with this commandment, Jalal, you might understand what I try to explain to you with that song. Now it's taking place. It's the same explanation I tried to give when you remember the plane where the woman got sucked into the window and she kept the plane stable so that the pilot could bring 200 and God knows how many people safe to the ground. She sacrificed her life, and nobody looks at it that way. She sacrificed to save 200 more. That's the beauty of it. I have given you another example. That is the container with the 39 dead people, refugees locked up in a fridge container in England. Those souls have given their life because it's so many. It is in England. It's gone into the news. Nobody can hide it anymore. And the beautiful thing is that the week before we made that wish about the refugees and the displaced people. These people are not home. They were from Vietnam and China. They sacrificed their soul, their life. And what have we noticed? They're finding more and more containers because they're looking for them. They start finding the traffickers. They catch them alive. They don't find no more dead people in the containers. They used to find 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and it was kept quiet. But 39 souls sacrificing themselves in that beautiful way, they are finding more and more and opening more and more with children. That's the beauty and the understanding in what and how I try to explain to Jalal to change the field strength of the song. That they don't take up the weapons and they sing exactly what they're doing. That's the change of the field strength, because those souls are blessed because they're sacrificing to bring peace in their land. They are fed up of bloodshed. They're fed up of the injustice. Unfortunately, it has to happen this way. But I give from my soul to all those souls which stand in peace for correctness, for transparency, and for peace in a peaceful manner. Just stand for me to tell you in His beauty.
You was breaking up, Caroline, but I am present.
I was breaking up where?
Last words.
Yeah, just at the very end.
I am present in the song of freedom. Unfortunately, it is taking the shape and form, but it is balancing the country. And maybe, Jalal, you understood what that song came to tell me, to whisper in your ear.
Yeah, thank you. And really, Yuri, you do not believe what is happening there. You will not believe it, because it is a really peaceful future ground base to build on. Really, really ground base. It's the cornerstone, really.
It's coming from the people and not top down from the government directing them to do something, correct?
Yes, yes. And whatever they do, the government or the militias or whatever, nothing changed them. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Dancing, yeah, they are suffering, yes, and sometimes they are angry, yes, but still they are happy, sing in peace and showing their beauty in peace. My God. And everything what they are saying, if I translate what they are saying, yes, they say, why is that happening and why this happened? Because we are peaceful people. Now we are peaceful and we learn. And this was what was missing. You cannot educate a country. You need, I think, 300 years of peace to educate them to this level. But this young people, my God, something happened there, and I know what is that. That is our wishes and changing the strength of the field. Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome, Jalal. You are a Universal Council support member. So the beauty works.
I will be elevated. Wait. I will be elevated. Just 1 second. Just wait for that.
Ah, yes, that is something.
Yes.
We have to announce the right way. It appeared in a lot of chat rooms in response to a knowledge seeker which got really upset and really angry and really frustrated because it happens. That is that in Dubai, it was announced. That's why I please urge any knowledge seeker to read through all the paperwork of the Universal Council, the structure, everything, because it's all been explained, and our mandate and our structure in the Universal Council is opening up more and more for people to understand the function of the Universal Council. And that is that it was said from day one, before even anyone became a Universal Council member, that is that each country can have a Universal Council member because the energy from a council member, let's say in United States, English speaking, cannot represent an English speaking community in England or Scotland. Even an Englishman cannot dominate a Scottish because they have absolutely nothing in common, cultural or heritage of knowledge and the connection with the field strength of those people. So Mr. Keshe has reopened the reminding of people that they can apply if they feel the need to serve their country on soul level, because we are only tools to bring peace and harmony within our own communities. That we have no longer no borders, but we have the understanding of the language and the true feeling with who they are and what they are. So somebody from Spain cannot choose somebody from Argentina or cannot represent them because the field strengths are so opposite to one another and so different. So we are welcoming Universal Council's members. If you feel the strength that you can serve your community and your language, you're more than welcome to go to our website and to apply for positioning. If there is more than one, then you will sit down on the table and decide who can serve in this most beautiful way that language. We are also calling up on Universal Council support members to support your council members because we have a lot of work in the near future that needs to be done, and the council members cannot do it all by themselves. Like Brazil is such a huge domain to cover. It's a different language. It cannot be governed by a Universal Council member from Portugal. It's impossible. The field strengths are not there. The understanding is not there. It's completely different. So please apply to become members to support, because the understanding of becoming a Universal Council member or support member is as follows. We integrate and we communicate with the governments. By achieving that platform, they learn who we are and we learn who they are. They accommodate and take and receive what they need for their country. But that then represents all of you in that language speaking community. So the council members are representing in your governments and or doing the communication. So the changes can start taking place to integrate the World Peace Treaty. The benefits that the Keshe Foundation will provide for your country, as was explained before. The Keshe Foundation is an overall beautiful home to bring peace and balance through all these kind of structures. It cannot be done overnight, but we are working on it. We are making progress. You see the changes, like Jalal just brought the most beautiful gift of this kind of change, although it is a harsh way to be confronted. But if Jalal wishes to create a wish for today to support that community language, please do so, Jalal, if you have any wish. And if you can speak, because I know you're working, but I don't know if you're already off.
I am cooking. Let me cook both of them.
Okay. Bon appetit, as we say.
In the meantime, maybe either Jalal can read his original wish, or I can, or Carolina can.
That would be nice, Greg. That's a good idea. Because you don't keep on rewriting new wishes, you can find the wishes you originally made and just say, I am present. Even just thinking about them, you give from your field strength to that wish, and it grows, and it travels, and it's instant delivery. Yes, Rick, go ahead.
Okay. Maybe I'll read it because Jalal is busy cooking in many ways. It goes like this. We give from our soul unconditionally and are present in this wish. The people of Iraq are safe, happy, and prosperous. In peace, their beautiful souls are receiving the nourishment from all our souls. It's from Jalal, the Universal Council support member, Friday, October 4th, 2019. We are present. I am present.
I am present.
We are present. I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
And as Jalal would say, thank we.
I am present. And thank you.
Hello?
Hello, is that Marinez? We can barely hear you, Marinez.
Good night, everybody over there. I wanted to ask Jala, that she was very, very happy news for me, because for years we have prayed for Iraqi people, their destiny, and nobody. So I wanted to know in what aspect he thinks things have changed, and how can he analyze why it has happened, what's the cause, and what it is to learn for other places.
Marinus, we can barely hear you. You're very distant from the microphone, or the incorrect microphone is selected. I think you're saying you're asking something of Jalal or of Carolina.
Hello?
Or, that's much better, yes.
Can I? Hello.
Yeah, what was your question again?
Yes, please, thank you. I wanted to ask, first of all, I'm really happy I'm really happy for this news for Iraqi people, because for years we have prayed for them, and now Gerald comes with a seems like astonishing good news. And I wanted to know to what he refers this change happening. What's the cause of this change? So we can maybe use it for other places.
Yeah, he's already talked about that, and Carolina's talked about that as well. We set our intention, we set the wish, and the wish is going through. That's what started it. And a secondary, Jalal's not able to answer right now because, as he said, he's busy in the background, so he won't be able to answer that question directly. We'll have to. What was your second question? Or your third one?
First of all, that's just it's there are still other places I prayed for. I wrote it in my wish that all the region become peaceful and everybody become happy. That's my wish. All the region of Middle East becomes happy, full of peace. Adults, children, anybody.
You know, Mehnaz, when you laugh, the other person will laugh because it is contagious. When you protest, when you protest in peace, and the whole countries, the Arabic countries, see that the protester for all this long protesting in peace, what matter ever happen, and they still in peace, this is contagious. It will flow.
Sorry, we lost you there, Jalal. Oh, sorry, it's on my end. It switched again.
It's yours today.
Jeez, weird. I'm not. Something about when you talk has switched my audio.
I am happy. I am happy. You see, my energy flow is. I am very, very happy.
Yeah, it's electric today.
You mean it was the tribal problems which has gone out, the tribe between the people, the tribes, different tribes go together for a peace manifestation?
No, now there is no boy. They are all seemingly like they are equal. Now they are brothers. Everyone loves the other. Before they separated them, yeah, with all this, some in religions, some in parties, some in Shia sect, some in this party. But when you see them and you understand what they are saying and what they are singing, they are united really beautifully. And they do not allow anyone to separate them again. This is the beauty.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
It's very beautiful.
It has lasted many hundreds of years. All these problems of tribes and these things. So for the first time, hallelujah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and you know, before we ask for the truth to come out, and today even Caroline brought it up again. Now the truth is coming out, and every one of these cheaters and liars and thieves, they are open up. You know, everyone can see them. Everyone can understand what they done.
Thank you. Thank you for good news. I'm present.
Thank you, man.
It's amazing.
Okay, thank you, Jalal. And if you come up with a new wish, then you can let us know and we can add it to today's workshop.
I think what we have from this wish is very beautiful. So let it stay. It's very beautiful.
Yes, it seems complete without having to change anything. Okay, perhaps we go back to our commandments. Just a second here. And I think some have been fixed. The thou shalt not rape is now corrected. Is number 14. Number 15, and thou shalt not judge no one except himself, and not to be judged by no one, is in its correct place. And I think, Carolina, we might be up to thou shalt not touch or carry no arms to defend or to kill another, which kind of is what we were just discussing, actually, from Jalal's end of things.
Yes. Now he will understand the song. And now they are applying it in the right way of the commandment. That is a very big change for such a country with such history.
And when we look at the image, it's quite graphic, and it looks like like a bombed out building. And we find a lot of the structures in Iraq would have been destroyed in that manner, and in many of the countries of the Middle East.
Unfortunately, it's the loss of souls, but bless those souls because they are achieving peace. And this was the only way they could go.
Well, perhaps those souls are not lost exactly, but are raised up into a new position, and or perhaps they may return as leaders of peace. Depending on what you believe on that.
I do not know how much where you lost me. I just noticed that I lost my network.
Oh, well, we heard you up until I was just talking there briefly.
Bless their souls. I think we all understood this one.
Yeah, we have David with a microphone open here. I'm wondering if he wanted to speak. Guess not. Okay, I'll shut your microphone. And shall we go to the next?
If anybody has any questions, yes.
I think we have a hand up. It's Marinez. Go ahead.
Hi. No, excuse me. I just thought that the Mr. who was asking something from Carolina, and she had a call. Maybe his question was not answered. He was asking if we know something, and then we have to go back to our community. If we say that, there's a problem. If we don't say that, which one is better to do? This was his question, right? The person who was new this before Jalal. Excuse me, it's just I thought maybe he didn't get his answer from Carolina.
Yeah, he got his answer. No,
Yeah,
he
I
got
think
his
that was
answer.
I believe that was answered. You might want to review that one, Marinez, if you would like to get into it in more
No,
detail.
because I myself didn't understand it correctly. So should we give the news, even though it might cause us some non-pleasant problem, or should we just close the mouth and
No, because no, you should, because you create more chaos if you turn a blind eye. As it has nothing to do with you, but because of your awareness, you are present in that situation. So no, it has to be brought on the table.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Carolina, I have a question. I don't know if it's out of subject. I mean, I don't watch TV, but I heard there are some um, anti-corruption stuff going on in another country of mine, which is which shows how the people are aware, how they don't forget and they don't forgive, and we cannot cheat with words. I saw a little bit about that. Is it really what's happening on the earth? Or is it something from the air, from the planetary situation, or somewhere? Because people are not the same. They are more alert, they are more, yeah. I think these anti-corruption movements, I see it with my eyes. I was praying for that for years. Now all of a sudden I see things are rapidly going towards more people more awake and master of their life. I don't really know why is it. I mean, of course, we pray, we make a wish. There are others who make a wish, but something is going not right. I mean, it's going too much right. If it's possible, do you tell me why all these good changes happening?
If you listen to Mr. Keshe's last Thursday morning teaching, in the next 5 years, we will see a lot of these changes till the whole planet stabilizes.
Oh, 5 years. 5 years. We have 5 more years to continue.
No, the changes are happening now, but it could take over a period of years. It doesn't mean that the exact period after 5 years that everything is, I don't think he means it exactly 5 years. That's when all the change happens. It's process that we're going through, right?
Yeah, but do we have to expect a change of the style of life? Or
You've
is it
already
right?
seen the changes. The changes are occurring right now in front of your eyes. Just as Jalal explained, the changes are occurring. You even explained that you're seeing the changes. So
Yeah,
that's
but
the
I don't
changes that are
consider
occurring.
myself. I don't consider myself. I was conscious about justice for many years, defending justice. I don't consider them like people who can be cheated by the election and stuff. But now these people are becoming like me. But I mean, as far as changes in eating, in living with cars, different going somewhere else, this kind of style of life. I'm very happy for people who are getting more and more advanced in their rights. Um, um, I hear even the news which are astonishing, which not any news talks about. But for us, can we continue and eat breakfast and take the bus, the metro, the car, and for years again, or it's going to change little by little, uh, or suddenly, I don't know.
Can I say
Well,
something, please?
let's wait and see. Go ahead, Jalal.
Yeah, I would like to explain something. Maybe a lot they do not know what's happening really. What is the environment?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if I said a boy born 1980, and this is the beginning of the catastrophe, the war between Iraq and Iran, and now it is 39 years, and Iraq from 1980 until today, all the minutes, all the hours, all the days and months and years, we have war.
Yeah.
What do you think about this boy? What he will learn? What is the environment he raised in? You know, I think in another different position and different earth, I think all of these boys who is now 39 years old, they will be what? What can I explain? What they learn? Nothing. They see only killing and disruption, war. They will be all killers. We have more than 30 million. Now we are in the 40 million like this. What do you think they are? They deal only with killing and deal with cheating and deal with raping and deal with everything because, you know, war destroy everything. When you see in the street at 12 years old and 15 years old and 20 years old and 25 years old, a young, beautiful, really beautiful men's and women's who is singing for peace and they acting peace. You know, what is yesterday, one of the guys, he and his brother, they are protesters and his brother died. You know, yesterday what he said? He said, I came out to make peace and I will be peace. And then he asked him, now what you will do for about your brother? You will take revenge. He said, revenge, I will revenge for a peace. I will go out again and practice and process peace. And this is really, really, yesterday make really my day. And I know yesterday was beautiful because it's the Balance Day. 11/11/11, and you see what the beauty stayed there. And still, now when I go and see the news, the real news, what these guys is bringing out in the Facebook or another media, it is really beautiful. You see the generous. Caroline, you remember when I told you they are generous? You see all the food, clothes, everything. They are practicing a very advanced country in this small area in Baghdad where they are protesting. Whatever you need is there. All the beauty is there. You see the beautiful music, the beautiful poetry, the beautiful drawings. Everything is in beauty, really.
Yeah, maybe people don't know. Maybe we have a ceremony. We have a shrine of one of the religious leaders of 1200 years ago in Karbala, Najaf. And for 3 years, or maybe more years, people from all parts of the world, from all parts of Iran, they walk with nothing. They just make confidence that everything will be provided on the way, and they go to Karbala, right or not?
Yeah, but they are doing it for a reason.
Because everybody on the way, there are equips medical, there are equips, they give food, and everybody gives service to these people, Iraqi, Iranian, or whatever, with pleasure. There was a child who couldn't do anything. He was just saying, can I massage your leg, your feet? Or somebody is just there to give water to everybody. Everybody, it's just assembly. It's like a assembly of everybody who goes by foot to this place. They don't take airplane. And they feel enormous fraternity and brotherhood between Sunni, Shiite, everybody. It should be 30 million. And the media didn't talk. And this walk by foot from everywhere in these countries to this place of Martyr Hussein was a sign of we all are one, and we all serve the other one. And the pleasure, right? You agree with me? This pleasure of everybody who was running to help some of these people who were walking. I have a friend of mine who went. I haven't heard she's come, if she has come.
Yeah, Mehnaz.
It's a manifestation of trust on another one, and you go without food and you come back, no problem.
Yes,
so
but
how many
look,
days? I don't know.
Look, Mehnaz, what is the difference now? Before, every one of them, they are showing their beauty, yes, but for themselves, for benefit themselves, to upgrade it to heaven. But now everyone do it for everyone, for all, for peace. And this is the beauty. This is the most beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Now, when you go there is no religion. You see, even there is some parties, Juden, there. I saw them. Some parties Yazidis, some parties Christian, Muslims, Sunni, Shia. There is no such a thing. There is no name. There is no. They are not saying any. They say we are Iraqis. All diversity before all this cutting here and cutting here. Now we are one flag,
I understand.
one nation, and this is the beauty.
This chief of army, Shah Shabi, who said, my chief, my brother, is the Sardar Soleimani, the Iranian Shiite Sepah. And they said, yeah, she's Shiite, you're Sunni. Oh, no problem, we are all the same. I love this man, I love his ideas, and we fight all for the peace together. These were beautiful, beautiful changes. Oh, and also I know, I say that maybe as an example, a group, it's not a group, it's multi-media young people who do some programs, do some helps, economic, culture, or whatever. And they tell people, you go out and you serve people. For example, you have a taxi, you have an old person who doesn't have money, you just take him to their destination and you say, okay, I don't take the money. I put in on the Mahdi. I get my reward from Mahdi. So it's called the Mahdi service, you know? They don't, or one day they go and buy bread for all the area, the old people. They give service in the name of Mahdi, in the name of the Savior. And not just for money, not just for thank you, just I do it for him, he would reward me. That's a beautiful movement also, I know of.
Yeah, but unless this is conditioned giving, it's conditioned. But now what's happening there is unconditional, and that is the difference. A big difference.
You see, even with the creator, he made us here just to understand his beauty, and that's his reward. I mean, there is no reward, but all reward is not money or material. It could be just service for the happiness of doing something. That's a reward.
Well, perhaps that's a good segue into the 18th commandment, which I'll mention, and then we'll have to wrap up the show for today. Thou shalt be the river of life and love, not only to thyself and thy loved ones, but in equal measure to his enemies. And perhaps with what Jalal says, if we look at everyone as equal, then there is no enemies in a way. So I think we need to wrap up today's show. We've been at 2.5 hours here plus. Is there anything anyone that'd like to say to complete today's workshop?
Nobody any questions? So we can close down for today. I thank you, hosts and co-hosts, and knowledge seekers, councils, Universal Council support members, core teams, Earth Council members, if you are present. Please do visit our website to find more information about why the councils are there, each in their own shape and form and beauty. And Jalal, you have covered 3 of our commandments today. It's amazing.
If you give me time, I will cover them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Thank you.
And I thank our presentation from Joachim Ferrari. Oh, he has become UC Support Portuguese, or he is UC Support Portuguese. Welcome, Joachim.
Thank you, Carla.
Our family is growing and is going to grow very fast in the next few weeks. Just give us time to catch up with all the application forms, and especially on the teaching platform. Maybe Peggy can share one more time the link for students to come in. If you don't get straight away a reply, please inform and debrief the Brazilian knowledge seekers that they have to have a little bit patience, because it's a lot of people. I have noticed yesterday, because we started a chat room on Telegram, and it's a wonderful tool because it translates simultaneously in 2-3 languages. It's amazing. I never need to worry that nobody will understand, although sometimes some of the words are not exactly correct translated, but they can understand that. It will take time. Give the management teams, which are in charge of applying all these new students rolling in, to give them a chance to position them. Also for the councils and the support councils, it takes time to process, because everyone goes through a security check. And please, Joachim, do not wait with what you were questioning me about. It is more important than you can even imagine.
Yeah. Do you know, I am a supporter since, I think, 2017. But now I will be more
present.
Yeah, I will be more.
We will make sure that we start inviting our other knowledge seekers. Unfortunately, I have to let you all know, especially the council support members, that we cannot have a council meeting this Friday together with you, as apparently I will not be able to be home yet. So I prefer to be in a stable place, not being on the move, to have a meeting with all of you. So we will have the meeting the week after. So I will post it into the chat room so that the Universal Council support members know when we will meet with the Universal Council members. Thank you very much. Thank you, Flint, and thank you, Rick.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you are enjoying Brazil and you all enjoy it, Brazil.
Oh, Joachim, the food is gorgeous. The weather is warm.
Yeah, do not come here to the cold, Caroline. Stay there.
And the people are warm. To me and Kesh.
I can't understand you.
Sorry, you're breaking up there, Carolina. You have to say that last sentence again.
Oh, my network doesn't work so well on the other side. Is that better?
Yes, we hear you good now.
Does it stabilize us more here?
Yep. Can you say what you just said again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Over.
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, I do apologize. Yes.
Last sentence, me and Mr. Keshe, not about last reunion, and I lost.
Yes, we lost the last couple of sentences there, Carolina.
Yes, I got kicked out. That's why. I said Brazil is warm, not too hot. The food is absolutely nice. The people are beautiful. They are warm, and it brings home a lot of memories. You know, like when you're welcomed, like into a family. This is exactly what happened when we arrived here in Brazil. Once they could position in their understanding what happened before, and once they realized that it was nothing to do with us, actually, personally, the whole atmosphere just changed. Every day of the conference was amazing, showering knowledge from one another. And you all know Mr. Keshe, he really shares knowledge. So it feels like being home in Brazil. So I have no complaints, and I can only wish for all the Brazilians to be more than welcome in all our platforms. Once they start finding their way, we'll start teaching them how to get a member, how to get to the private classes, how to come to the public platforms, because they've never been there. They've never been anywhere. So please do embrace them. Be patient. Try to find Portuguese translators for the ones who cannot speak fluent English, that they receive the support from the whole family to come into the open as a beautiful flower. And there are a lot of them, because yesterday when I checked the chat, which is and having an automatic translation, so I don't need to think twice if they will understand or where I can translate it. It appears in Spanish, it appears in Portuguese. There were about 200 extra people out of nowhere just added to the platform. And I thought, my God, more children which are walking into the family of the Keshe Foundation. I welcome you all with a warm heart, and it's a pleasure.
And you enjoy your warm vacation there, please, you and Mr. Cash. I wish you'll have a very wonderful time there. And we pray for the BRICS event to go for prosperity of humanity. We pray for it.
Yes. The only thing I would love to put out is the BRICS meeting is taking place as we are here present, which most probably is not a coincidence. And the connections are establishing. So we will see what Mr. Keshe will announce tomorrow. I cannot say, I will not say. That's the privilege of Mr. Keshe to share with all of you. It looks good, it sounds good, it is good. And just be present in the wish to elevate all the world leaders to sign the World Peace Treaty. That's my only wish.
Yeah.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I'm present.
I am
I am
present.
present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
Okay, I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up today's workshop.
Yes, Rick, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Carolina. You said gratitude to everybody else but yourself. So thank you very much for all you do to bring us together here in this platform and shed light on the in our perceptions and interpretations of the way we look at things. Bringing the soul to science. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's 95th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. I remind people to check out the Knowledge Seekers Workshop on 9 a.m. It's Central European Time on Wednesday, as usual. And we will see what Mr. Keshe has to present at that time. Okay, thank you, Flint, for helping with today's production and taking us out. Bye for now.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all the beings in the universe. By teaching the plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. Your donation helps us in achieving this goal. Donate to keshefoundation.org/donate. Hello.